Yo, what's up? I go by 20 Pads on the internet. I've been mixing for 4 years, and I also run a school community, Simple Mixes. Check it out, link in the bio. Today I just want to talk about dangerous leveling and how to not do that, starting with what is dangerous leveling. As many of you know, leveling is the ground that the house sits on, metaphorically. So making sure that you start off with this is arguably the most important. Doing this can also give you like 50% of a great mix. I call this dangerous leveling, but the idea can be applied across all of mixing. Now, the way of leveling that you should be cautious of is your own bias of what you want to sound good versus what you know to translate. I can't tell you how many times I've personally been a victim of this, or catch myself starting to make decisions based off how I want the song to sound on my headphones, not what I know to translate well. Your mixing decisions should come from what you know to translate. Now, the way you sway away from dangerous leveling is getting familiar with your playback system. Whether they're EQ'd or not, the better you know your playback system, the better your mixes will be. It's more optimal to EQ them, but that is your choice. Choose which one shows better results to you. Once you're familiar with them, meaning that you have one set EQ, or you decide to not EQ them, you now just want to listen and listen and listen to as much music you know to have a good translation, to get familiar with what sounds good. A good tool to have is Minimeters, looking at the loudness of the music, spectrum analyzers, and stereo imaging of the tracks. After you get familiar with that, now you can start mixing to what you know to sound good. It always helps to have a copy of some references that you can throw in the DAW. It's always good. So, and just having that actual wave file of what they exported, just comparing. Whenever I'm leveling, by the way, my headphones are EQ'd. Whenever I'm leveling to what sounds balanced to me and what I'm hearing. So whenever I'm doing this, I'm breaking it down into 3 categories: lead, foreground, and background. Now, lead is pretty obvious. This can be like a synth lead, bass lead, whatever you remember, this is all your choice. Like, you choose what the lead is. Most of the time it's going to be the vocals. And then foreground, that's everything else that is still up front and present, but is still behind the lead, if that makes sense. Now, behind the lead, I will put typically like the rhythm, so it's be hi-hats, claps, and all that. That way the rhythm is up in front and present. You need that rhythm to be present. Now, the rhythm can also come from synths, or not synths, but just like your instruments. So you can choose whichever one you want, or you can have a little bit of both. And then the background is literally everything else. So everything else that's like ear candy or just like tucked away, that's not supposed to be front, but it's just there to support everything else. That's where I put everything else. Another thing that I personally do is whenever I'm leveling, I don't level with the mixer. You might be like, what? How do you level? So in FL Studio, there's a channel rack. I mix with the channel rack, and I mix with the knobs on the channel rack. That way I'm not looking at metering and numbers on the mixer. It's very easy to get lost in making like 0.2 or 0.1 dB adjustments to a sound when you can't even perceive that scientifically. I remember reading something about that. So that just takes away all the unnecessary like fluff from leveling. It's just completely ear reliant, which is always the way to go. If you can EQ, compress, and all that type of stuff without looking at meters and stuff like that, it will help you so much you don't even know. But yeah, another thing that to do whenever I'm leveling, to check my leveling, make sure I'm getting stuff generally right, is I will put the master in mono just to check, make sure everything is translating good. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Just remember, when you're mixing and leveling and all that, don't do it to your bias, do it to what translates well. See ya.